Daymar, just a ball of sand and silence. Kind of romantic, in a strange way.
Romantic? My boots are filled with dust and I can't see 10 feet without glare.
I didn't say it was a good romance, just strange. The kind you and I keep stumbling into.
I'd take strange with you over perfect with anyone else.
You can't just say things like that before a sortie, you know? You make it harder to climb into that cockpit.
Why? Afraid you'll think about me instead of flying?
Always do. Doesn't mean I want you distracting me with poetry.
That wasn't poetry. If it was, you'd be laughing.
Maybe I am. You just can't see it through the helmet.
General quarters. General quarters. All hands. General quarters. General quarters. All hands.
Let me tell you something real quick. When you see me looking around in game, that's not a trick, that's Beam eye tracking doing the work. Its newest version is now in beta and completely removes the need for OpenTrack, giving you seamless integration between the software and the game. It's easy to set up, runs clean, and you can use it with a webcam, iPhone, or Android device. And it's only $30. One program, less overhead, smoother tracking. Grab Beam eye tracking through the link below to support the developer directly and stop running multiple apps when you want to feel more immersed in what you're doing. Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the AEGIS IDRIS-P. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, welcome back to another review. Thank you to everybody that joined me today on doing this review to get the best scenes possible. You all are truly amazing. The IDRIS-P by Aegis is a huge warship and it's capable of quite a bit of damage. Now with this ship, it does come with a very hefty price tag if you were to try to purchase this with real money, but now you can also obtain it via Wikello, which is truly amazing, allowing you to obtain this ship via in-game means instead of spending any hard cash on it. If you were to purchase it through the means of money, it is $1,500 war bond, or its standalone store credit $1,900. But like I said, you can obtain it in-game now through the means of Wikello, but it will be quite the grind. Only a few organizations out there have obtained it so far, and we will be obtaining ours within the next few days as well, which is really cool. This ship does have a 3-hour and 19-minute claim time, or if you're to to expedite it, it brings it down to 49 minutes and 45 seconds, which is still quite a considerable amount of time to wait, but it is a massive craft and it has a hell of a crew requirement if you're going to go out there and use it proper. Now, there are means to using it solo, which you can kind of still do as long as you're not going into too much combat. Even if you have the laser on there, or if you have the massive destroyer mass driver railgun on there, it's still probably better to not get involved in too big of a fight without some of a crew, because you will have an engineering nightmare unfold on this ship after a little bit of time. Now, the Idris does have, like I said, a choice of main guns you can put on it. You do have the Hammerfall torpedo launcher, which shoots size 12 torpedoes, which will pretty much make anything in the game explode. And then you have the Exodus 10 laser beam, which has a 15,000 burst DPS, which is quite phenomenal and is quite a good gun if you're going to use one. And then you also have the Destroyer Mass Driver Railgun, which with a normal shot, it's 9,611 burst damage per second, but you can also hold the trigger and charge shot that, and it would do a considerable amount more. Now, with that, you do have a massive amount of turrets on the ship, giving you a burst damage per second from your turrets and your PDCs combined of 32,217 due to the two size 5 M7A laser cannons at the front, which certain kits have different weapons there at the front, including the Idris M, which also can have different guns like the size 7s. But I do like the size 5s. They are very good now in engineering, and they're even pretty good beforehand as well. And then you also have 14 size 5 CF 557 Galderines and 8 size 4 Revenant ballistic Gatling guns. Now, the Revenant ballistic Gatling guns are on remote turrets controlled by the bridge, and the rest of those guns are on manned turrets all over this craft, which we'll take a look at here in just a moment. You do also have 11 size 1 M2C Swarm PDC cannons on this ship, allowing you to hopefully not get torpedoed too often, as they do attack torpedoes, light fighters, smaller ships, or really any ship out there. But the bigger the ship, the less they're really going to be able to do against that. For defensive capability, you do have 2,112,000 quadrant shield with 8.3% physical resistance, 5.3% energy resistance, and 81.6% distortion resistance, which means this ship can take quite the beating, including its shield generator, before it has any real issues. Now, you also have a lot of armor on this ship with 2,300,000 armor with a minus 15% physical damage, so it won't be as effective if you're using a gun that's shooting, actual kinetic energy. And then you have plus 30% energy damage. So the energy weapons, like laser weapons out there, laser cannons, they're going to do more damage to your shields and your armor compared to something like a ballistic weapon. And then taking a look at this ship, it does have 15,515,000 ship HP. Some of these stats have changed since its original release, but it's still not terrible for the size of this ship, for the class of what this ship does. It has a lot of health, and a lot of that is due to just how big it is, right? But it also has huge components that you can't take out, you can't replace unless you were to go to like a docking station somewhere out there and actually have them do it for you through the vehicle manager. You have those shield generators are the size 4 hold strong grade A shield generators. They output 1,056,000 HP each with a full charge in 98 seconds. Also, they have some other stats on here, like the damage regen delay of 7.72 seconds, the down regen delay of 15.4 seconds, as well as the self-repair max count of 1, self-repair time of 547 seconds with a repair health of only 20% when they come back that way. But I will let you know right now, just using the Cambio SRT or repair method, you can definitely repair it yourself using that, and it might actually go a lot quicker and a lot better for you. So that might be the route to go. Now, when it comes down to your power plant, the Idris power plants are size 4. You do have 2 of them. They are grade A with 29 max power generation each, and they give you a total of 14,400 nominal EM signature. The distortion shutdown damage is 47,500 before they can get distorted, and a reboot time of 21 seconds with 56,000 component health on that. 569 seconds of repair time as well if you're going through the self-repair situation. But again, if you have the Cameo SRT, you can go ahead and repair that. And then you do have 2 size 4 coolers, the Exotherm grade A's, which have a total cooling generation of 102 each with a nominal EM signature of 2,970. Again, you do have 1 self-repair max count with a repair time of 372 seconds, but again, just use a Cameo SRT. It's probably going to be the better thing for you. For your quantum drive, you do have the Frontline grade A quantum drive in there. Max speed 718,000 kilometers a second, which is fantastic. You'll get across the verse in no time. Now, this ship's ship HP does have a 25% penetration physical damage reduction, a 40% penetration energy damage reduction, and a 30% penetration fuse damage reduction. So it takes away a little bit of that damage happening from the physical side. Now, you do have a top SCM speed of 110 with a 220 forward boost, a 125 backwards boost, and an 850 nav speed. She's slow, but she's huge, so that's to be expected. You also have a pitch yaw roll of 7, 7, 12. Boosted would be 8, 8, 14. Remember, the bigger the number, the more maneuverable this craft is. So that low of a number means you aren't maneuvering at all. You're pretty much a moon at this point with a really big gun if you have one mounted. Now, the ship does have 1,200 flares and 600 decoys, and I believe they are size 2, so they do a little bit more when it comes to getting away from the torpedoes and the missiles out there. For going the distance, you do have 6,400 SU of hydrogen fuel and 120 SU of quantum fuel. Now, on board this ship is quite a massive amount of cargo space, but a lot of it is somewhat difficult to get to, but it allows for you to do quite a bit. I ran a mining operation out of this ship, and it was a lot of fun because you have so much space to land ships in here and to do so much with it. You can put the Prospector, Vulture, you can put all sorts of ships in here with mining bags and go out there and have quite a fun time, allowing you to do quite a bit. With that, it does carry 1,374 SCU of cargo on board. Let's go ahead and take a look. First, we're going to head to the back ramp right now and show you exactly how you get on this ship. From the ground, there's only one accessible area, and that's right here through the back ramp. So you would go ahead and hop right onto this ramp, and when you get on up here, it's quite nice, but it's a very big ramp. It's a lot of space for someone else to sneak on board. Always be careful. Always have somebody watching the door, right? And then when you're on board, there are multiple other ways to get on, but they're usually EVA access, so that is also something to consider there. As you can see, this is your main hangar floor on the left, and on the right, you do have cargo as well as many other areas to fit some stuff and elevators that take you to another cargo room right above, which we'll check out once we get there. Now, when you're on the port side of the ship, you do have the pilot ready room and main deck. If you were to go through this door here, you'd see a staircase that would lead you right on up to that. Or if you walk all the way down here, you'll see another access point, which we'll check first. This is the Argo hangar. You can put the Argo cargo, the Argo personnel down here. The Argo tractor does not fit because it is one of the newer models that just does not have that space. Here is one of your manned turrets that goes to the bottom of the ship right here. And then you walk through this door, you walk through the next door, and here is the Argo's nice little landing bay, which is situated kind of midship, and it's not a terrible spot, but trying to land one in here is definitely not fun. It can be quite interesting. They're supposed to kind of magnetize or suction cup to the roof here and not worry about putting the landing gear down here, so make sure you don't put your landing gear down. I mean, you kind of have to right now because I don't think this functionality works yet. If you turn to your left here, you do have a nice area with lockers that you cannot use and a button to go ahead and open that bottom door, which will open it typically and close it. Right now we have everything kind of locked up. We do have a nice fire extinguisher right here. Fire extinguisher. And then if you make your way through, and you got a nice little fuse area and go through this door. As you can see, it's a nice shiny room. It looks pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and open this up. This is your gravity generator. It looks straight out of a certain movie. Go ahead and tell me down in the comments which movie you think it looks like. But it is fantastic. Check this out. Look at this room. Very cool indeed. It definitely takes some hints from a specific movie, but it is pretty awesome to be in that room. Let's go ahead and close that door up and make our way back through the rest of the ship. We haven't even gotten to the main deck of this ship yet, so there's a lot to look at, and with that, we're going to take a look right now. Let's go right back to the ladder we came from so I don't confuse what side of the ship we're on. We are on the port side of the ship, which is the left side of the ship. Now, when you go ahead and go back on this floor right here, if you walk all the way down, you you do have storage lockers that do work, and you can go ahead and open that up and store a ton of storage all over this ship, and I mean an absolute ton. You also have nice seating areas. You can go ahead and look out the windows when you're on your nice distant travels, and then if you go ahead and go right back onto the hangar floor, this can hold so much. So much. I mean, I'm talking about F7s, F8s, Gladiuses, any sort of fighters. You can put prospectors, you can put vultures, you can put all sorts of ships on this grid, allowing you to go out there and do tons of cargo and mining operations or operations of many other means. Now, if you go to the starboard side of the ship, we'll go ahead and take a look at the control room and main deck. Again, on this nice floor here, you do have many lockers at the end, as well as access to the Argo hangar right down here with another bottom turret door right there. So let's go ahead and make our way up the stairs now to go ahead and take a look at the rest of this ship. This nice little deck here does have this that controls the front and back doors. You go ahead and hit this button on the front, which close the front door, and on the left closes the rear door of the ship. So that's pretty cool. That's at this terminal, and that terminal there. Now you do have relay areas on these ships all throughout the ship, and a lot of them are behind these stairs, as well as many fire extinguishers. Now, if we make our way on up these stairs here, you're going to be on the main floor of the ship. Now, it's pretty confusing sometimes until you kind of get used to the ship. Right ahead is your mess hall for the crew. So you go ahead and open that door and you'll see this is where you're going to be doing a lot of eating, a lot of drinking, a lot of taking care of yourself on this ship when you're hungry, when you're going through, the verse and you're trying to figure it out, including having cheeseburgers. The floor burgers are the best, so don't let that mistake you there. It's quite a nice area to go ahead and sit down and eat and relax when you're on your long journeys. Now let's go ahead and go right back to where we just came from right here at this entry point. So we'll go ahead and go towards the back of the ship first. So if we go ahead and turn this direction, this heads towards the cockpit. Surprisingly, it is on the midship up high. So if you go this way, fire extinguisher, and then you make a left turn, it says bridge and armory. So there's a couple different directions you can go here. You can go straight on up to the bridge, which that way does have that access, or you can go straight over here to your armory, allowing you to have a nice shooting range right here, and you can go ahead and do some shooting, really nice. A nice little window to the middle of the ship on outside. And then if you walk right on through this door, open it up, you have a ton of weapons. That storage. It's just a ton of weapon storage all over. You got armor lockers, all sorts of areas to get ready for yourself, and it's just a fantastic time. You walk in here, you have even more going on. You can do your shooting range. You can practice with a lot of what's going on, shoot the wall a bit, since we didn't get our shipment of targets yet, so we're working on that. Now you do have even more weapon storage over here, which looks really nice. You have the Master of Arms standing right here with even more access to weapons to hand off to you, allowing you to just have a number of guns on this ship, which is truly amazing. So go ahead and open this door here. Open this one. There's doors everywhere. You'd think the ship was Crusader, right? Right here, another relay access, and then you have escape pods. 1, 2, 3. They're more like escape shuttles. This opens up and you got room for probably a good few people in there. But let's go ahead and make our way all the way back down to where we just came from, right? I don't want to confuse us. So kind of make our way. There's so much, and this is where we came into that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So we're going to continue on this floor and make our way down here. So now we are at the cargo bay. This is where you can bring a lot of your cargo via these elevators that I showed you when we first entered the hangar. There is quite a bit of space to kind of do that. A little bit here, bring it on up, drop it on the cargo grid, and they are magnetized and good to go, nice and secure. Now we'll make our way out of this room. A little bit of a jump scare there. We'll head towards the rest of the rear of the ship. Another fire extinguisher. And it's pretty nice. The area all around is pretty detailed. Can't wait to see a lot of this come alive. And then if you make your way, we'll open up this door. I'm going to say make your way about 15 more times. Make sure you're counting. But you open this door and you do have a lot of future potential component areas. You have relay access areas. It's a pretty dark looking room. Might need some lighting upgrades in here, but otherwise it is pretty nice. It's pretty cool. Nice little blast door there, blast door here. It's just, I don't know where they're going to put all of these components, but it is going to be pretty nice to see. And then you have an elevator. This elevator actually takes you from this floor and it takes you on up to the cockpit, which is pretty cool. So if you want to take a different way to the bridge, this is the route you'd want to go, and you'd go right on up. it's also a nice sneaky route if you're pirating a Idris of sorts, right? So let's go ahead and close that door, make our way down this hallway here. Like I said, that's where we just came from with the escape pods and the armory down that hallway. And then over here is another relay access, as well as an area that you can technically EVA into, but as of right now, you cannot open it up. You do have suit lockers here. It is quite an interesting room. I can't wait to see how this is used in the future. But as of right now, not much of an idea other than just an EVA access point for the ship, maybe for engineers. Now, if you make your way completely to the back of the ship, there's a few doors here. This door leads to the briefing room. So when you go ahead and come on in here, it's kind of dark, you know, as it would be if you're going to be projecting something and talking to the crew, having a good time, sitting down, enjoying a nice presentation of where we're going next and what needs to happen. Here's where you're going to be doing that. But let's make our way back out the door of the briefing room. Pretty cool room, a good room if you want to role play. And this is a turret room. So this leads you all the way to the turret that you can go ahead and get into. And that takes you to the bottom right underneath the hangar. It is pretty cool. It takes you right on down. And it's a pretty interesting turret access point. Now, if we go ahead and continue, we just came from that direction over there, but if we continue from this direction, we will go ahead and check out the other side of the ship now. Another one of the red rooms with the nice looking airlock doors and armor lockers. Another relay access point. Got a lot of those on this ship. And then if you look right here, you got even more escape pods. But the neat thing about these escape pods here is it leads you to a specific part of the ship that's not typical on the other side. You have another relay access point here, and then you have a warden area that you would be watching over any of your prisoners in the brig. You can actually sit down here and control the doors via these buttons. You can open them and close them via that, and I'll show you exactly what the brig doors look like. Make your way on through this door here, and here is your brig. You have 1, you have 2, you have 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 brig doors here. Nice little rooms for the prisoners that deserve to have their spot. It is definitely needed sometimes. You know, you never know when you might have a mutiny or when somebody presses a button they shouldn't or has a rocket launcher they shouldn't. It just happens. It just happens, absolutely, and you need the space to take care of that situation. Now, we are still on this side of the ship that we just started off, but we're going to run all the way back, kind of where we access that area, just so we don't get you lost too much. It's basically just a really big oval, right? So let's go ahead and go right here. This is where we were. So boom, escape pods right over here to the left. And then over here is your engine room. A lot of your bigger components will be through this door. Go ahead and open that up and make our way. It's pretty cool. Has like this nice little thing to make sure you're not bringing any foreign contaminants in here and take care of anybody walking in. And here you are at the engineer room where you have a lot of your reactors, your power systems, the core systems, including, of course, your engineer terminal, which should be here. It is pretty nice. So you do have another fire extinguisher area right on over there, and a lot of your good looking reactors and power systems. This is where you're going to be taking care of a lot of that as an engineer. We'll go ahead and go over here to take a look at the engineering terminal. Let's go ahead and enter that. And as you can see, it maps out the whole ship for you. Like I said, it's kind of like a big old oval racetrack. Let me kind of shut a lot of these off here really quick, just to give you an idea. So it goes like this and it goes like this, right? But it just kind of goes all the way back. So then boom, just like this. And that's your main floor with a lot of additional areas on there. And then of course you have like your prisoner area, your gun range stuff. Kind of where we're at is a little bit right here. So we're right through this door here. If we can zoom in. And we came through this hallway, so now we're right here. So we're gonna go through the next door and check that out. That's just where that elevator was. And then you can go ahead and make your way through many other rooms of the ship. There's quite a few rooms on this ship, I'm not gonna lie. And sometimes it can get very hard to find your way in and out of this ship, depending on how often you've been in one. Now, like I said, if you make your way through here, that's the elevator, leads you up to the bridge, and then we're gonna continue on, and right here it says cargo bay. So we've also seen this room. It's just another access point for it. And so we're going to continue on and fire extinguisher. Make our way this way, the bridge and the brig. So we've already checked out the brig. Now this is a walkway path that takes you from one side of the ship to the other, as well as getting a look at your hangar floor while you're doing that. It is pretty cool. I do like that, but we don't need to cross over right now. So we'll come on back up and make a tour of the front of the ship before we tour the bridge. Let's go ahead and see another fire extinguisher. The pilot ready room. We haven't seen this one. This is where your pilots are always going to stay ready to go. You got them sim pits here. They'd get on in there and practice some flying, because nothing better than getting into a sim pit instead of an actual Gladius and going out there and fly. But not always do you have that ability, right? Now, if you make your way down, instead of having control of the hangar doors, you do have an area to get ready, sit down, stretch, make sure you're doing a little hamster wheel running here, you know, just get on here and start running. Obviously, it doesn't work yet, which is too bad, just hurt my head. These storage lockers do all work, so you can definitely store things all around this ship. And here is another fire extinguisher. I mean, if I were to whisper every time I see a fire extinguisher, I think I'd be whispering quite a bit in this video. So we'll continue on to the next area here, which is back to the mess hall. So the mess hall has some interesting areas that you are connected to. So to the left over here, you do have a nice locker area, a nice restroom area. Go ahead and open up this and see. So you got a nice toilet, one there, one there. It is pretty nice. You got a lot of access points for going to the restroom, as well as your lockers all over the place, of course. And then your showers. When it's time to take a shower, you really should. That's where you'll be doing it. Now, one of the doors here leads to basically the area where your XO, right here, and of course your CQ, captain's quarters, and your, second in command. So we'll go ahead and open that up, take a look at second in command. It has a nice little bed, nice little locker area, nice little shower, bathroom for himself. He's well taken care of. Pretty interesting, nice shower curtain there, a nice suit locker. And then you walk into the captain's quarter, definitely has a little bit more space. You got a nice seating area here. You can sit down, take care of business. Nice area to open up some storage, some more lockers, nice seating, some TV area over here, and of course the rest of the quarters, which is the bed and your own individual bathroom with a shower, which is always really nice. So now we'll go ahead and make our way back to the kitchen, because I'm pretty sure at this point you're lost. And it's very okay. You have another fire extinguisher here. So we'll go ahead and right on back into here. And we'll make another turn over here, of course. And now we're back right at the area where we started just a moment ago, the mess hall. If you make your way through this door, so right here, you do have all your crew beds, all your crew storage, everything that you would need to take care of things. You go ahead and open it on up here, sleep over here, get dressed over here. You're going to see this a lot in Squadron 42, so get used to it. Get ready for it. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see that. And then through this door here is somewhat of like a pilot area, they'd say, but I don't agree. I feel like this is where I'd have my officers stay. I'd just have the pilots out there with the rest of the crew, personally, unless they were really good pilots. But you go ahead and put them through here. It does say pilot 1, pilot 2. So sure, if you only have 2 pilots, then that's what you got. You got a nice area for them to take care of themselves. They are a special brand of people that go through a lot of schooling and everything. So well done for the real ones out there in the world and also here in the game. Congratulations, you guys are the elite. So you have your nice little rooms. So we'll make our way on over here to this door. This is the door in the actual area to go to another bathroom here. So it takes you to more bathroom areas. Like we need more. We have so much more access all over. So more bathroom, more storage, everywhere to take care of yourself as a crew member as well as a pilot. So we went through this door. Let's go ahead and head on way back, because now we're all lost. We're all confused. So we'll make our way through this door here, and we are back to where we were. So control room, but now we're on the other side. Let's go ahead and go to the front of the ship. So that's the captain's quarters area. We just were in there, and we're gonna go ahead this way. Here's a nice fire extinguisher. Nice little docking collar. So this is pretty cool. This is another access point for the ship. You go ahead and open it up here and open it up here. And if you're at a station or whatnot, this is kind of where you'd be going to get off this ship right here, or on the other side over there on the port side. So it is pretty nice. It is pretty nice. I do like that. The more access points, the better. Now we're heading towards the med bay, another red room. It is replicated on the other side, another red room over there, another fire extinguisher. And then, of course, a cargo bay. So you go ahead and open this up. And you could put some cargo here on this grid, which would be good if you needed to supply some missiles or torpedoes or maintenance. This is kind of where you do it. You don't have access to this room yet. No access. It's just you have the ship, but you can't access that. Haha, no way. It's not going to happen. Fire extinguisher here. And, of course, fire extinguisher over there. It's good to have. Now we're going to make our way more. Another relay, probably replicated on the other side, I believe it is. And your med bed. So the ship does have a med med room with a nice medical office right here. The doctor will go ahead and take care of you. And over here, you do have a tier 2 bed. It used to be a tier 1. Now it's a tier 2. That's really too bad. But it is a tier 2. And then over here, you have a bunch of tier 3 beds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking good as always. So you have a lot of medical care over here. And so now we're going to head back to the side of the ship we were on originally. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we are. We are on the front of the ship now. The very front of the ship is where we're at, and you have more escape pods as well as a turret on the front. So you go ahead and hop in here and escape if you needed to. And here is that front turret with the cannons. So now you're asking yourself, what else is there to look at? Let's go ahead and look at the bridge, because that is the last area that you can look at on this ship. So you have a back hangar ramp, you have a front hangar door with no ramp, you have 2 EVA access points, 1 right, 1 left, as well as multiple of these red room doors that potentially will have EVA access in the future. And then if you make your way all the way back, you can go ahead and head towards the bridge, captain's quarters, okay, mess hall, control room, keep going, go past that control room, go past that pilot ready room, and then you're gonna see bridge armory or bridge brig. So we'll make our way over here and make your way on up. Now, a lot of your man turrets are right here on this floor. You have 1 front and 1 back. You can go ahead and open this up and you can get on in. It has a great view when you're not in the turret, and then when you get brought up, it has a great view as well. They have really big guns. The size 5s are no joke, and they will do a lot of damage. Now you have another fire extinguisher replicated on the other side as well. And of course, the rear turret. You go ahead and open this up, open up this door. It's got some nice bulkheads here. You go ahead and get in, takes you on up. And of course, you again have a lot of firepower. So now we're going to make our way to the bridge. This is where the command and control of the ship happens. Right at the top with the big glass windows where everybody can see you is exactly where you're going to be operating all of this ship. You have a lot of seating areas. So you have 2 relays, 1 here, 1 over there. And of course, you have the bridge over there where you're going to be flying this ship and directing the crew of this ship. Now, if I were to turn around first, you do have 1 seat here, 1 over there, 1 over there, and 1 over there. Those seats are the remote turrets on the ship with the Revenant ballistic Gatling guns. Now, this elevator here is the one I showed you earlier. If you were to go ahead and call that, it takes you into the elevator and you can head down. But there's also another EVA access point someday that we don't have access to right now. It's more like an escape area for anybody on this bridge to get out of here, but we don't have the ability to open it at this time. So now we'll make our way onto the bridge here where you're going to control your flight, the daily duties, everything when you're not in the briefing room, which is good to see. And you have yourself a cartography table here and all the seating that you'd need to run this ship. Go ahead and take a look at all the systems and the pilot seat on the left here, as well as the captain's seat right here in the middle and the co-pilot seat right here on the right. So everything looks fantastic. It's a great ship. It has a lot of good, availability, access points. Everything that you want to do, you can do with this ship. It's recommended to have a crew because a ship like this without a crew, not so fun, right? But you can definitely run a ship like this without a crew. It just becomes a lot more of a nightmare if you have a fire anywhere, if you have something going on, right? If there's something going on and you need to tend to it and you're under fire, you're going to be in a world of trouble. So not a good idea. Engineering is taking the steps in the right direction. Is it ready completely? Not quite, but it'll get there. Now I'm going to go ahead and hop into the pilot seat really quick, and now we're going to go ahead and lift off really quick after doing a nice little close all. We'll go ahead and wrap this up here really quick. This ship, honestly, there's a lot to it, but I do think it does deserve a pretty high score for its capabilities, for what it can do, for how big it is, how strong it can be. Everything that this ship can do is quite amazing, and I do love to see that. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at my score. Of course, the score is going to be high. It is a 98 out of 100. There are some issues with this ship currently that prevent it from being a strict 100 like it was prior. I honestly think the score is still 100. It's probably about a 98. It's in the 90s for sure. It can be 100. There's so much going on for this ship and so much you can do out in the verse. I think it requires a crew, NPC or human. I do think it has a lot of fun roleplay value, and it's just a fun ship to fly and be in when you're in a gunning situation. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of the Idris down in the comments below. Do you have one? Do you fly in one a lot? What goes on for you when you are in one of these ships? Thank you for being here, and of course, you all are truly amazing. I'll see you all in the next one. If you're building a new PC, go through longshipindustries.com, a veteran-owned mom-and-pop business that takes pride in every single build. He built my personal rig, which you can actually see featured on the website. The care, warranty, and customer support are top tier. Trust Longship Industries for your next build.